significance. I think this fact alone is the best explanation, the deepest explanation, the realistic, more realistic explanation to the fact that in both cycles of negotiations, after proposals were presented to the leadership, Palestinian leadership, no agreement was reached. We could hear things from Ehud Olmert. He proposed and proposed and proposed, even regarding Jerusalem or capital, and nothing. I think that after the failure of the Oslo agreement and after the Oslo of the 2000 negotiations and after the failure of all the discussions in 2008, in the foreseeable future there cannot be and there will not be an agreement with the Palestinian Authority. And as long as the Palestinian Authority is standing behind this clause, no agreement can be formed with anybody in Israel. And if you think otherwise, the Member of Parliament, Mr. Avi Dichter, was supposed to be here. Should he be here, I think it would have been difficult for him, I presume. You can always contradict my speech. How is it possible to think that any serious political body in Israel can reach an agreement with the current leadership of the Palestinians when the conditions are the following? Abu Mazen is claiming that Ehud Olmert gave him too little, and Tzipi Livni is claiming that Ehud Olmert gave the Palestinians too much. Between these two mountains, it is very difficult to introduce an agreement. This is the political reality in Israel and in the Palestinian Authority. There's no need in this context to mention Hamas and its agenda. The PLO is enough for us. That take the opponent's statements very, very seriously. This is cool. That in principle there's no ignorance, and serious consideration of what others are saying gave birth in the 16 or 17 last recent years a better understanding of reality and a better forecast of the development compared to other theorists who said, oh, these are just words, never mind, formulas, never mind, you can ignore and relax. We relaxed. The results speak for themselves. And some are at our feet. So I think the most probable forecast in the foreseeable future is that the status quo, more or less, things will remain as they are. We have an extension, an Iranian extension in Lebanon, and we have an Iranian extension in Gaza. It's not very comfortable. If you think that we can give any kind of territory to the PLO in order that through the PLO the land will be given to Hamas, I propose that to say that it's an irresponsible approach. The Dahlan forces were kicked out of Gaza in 1 week, especially following the methods Hamas was using, like throwing from higher windows in the 9th or 10th floor some of the PLO people, and they got the clue, they understood the hint. If you'll excuse me, that even in Ramallah there are some skyscrapers. And the situation at hand, we have no other option. People don't like to hear it, maybe, but we have no option but to make sure that the daily relationship between us and our neighbors in the West Bank and in Gaza under Hamas that was elected democratically speaking in January 2006. But regarding those neighbors, as much as possible to improve the daily conditions of their lives in the way that this government is doing, and to make their life not just bearable, but more than bearable, reasonable life with all the difficulties that were compelled on them by the leadership in Gaza, in the West Bank. And today we have a leadership that does not even consider to propose any proposals that are even close in any way to the proposals that were made a year and a half ago, and even those were rejected. This is the reality. It's not easy to acknowledge it. This is why we talk about solutions. I think that the threats we hear, those threats as if we are facing some kind of demographic overflow, and they are mentioning all kinds of expressions of defamations, and I don't want to repeat what will be the result, what will be the results of such demographic catastrophe. These are the expressions are heard abroad. How can I complain to anybody in Europe or in the United States or in South Africa when people say to me, this is the origin, this is the image of the demons on the wall, it comes from Israel, comes from you. So we have to understand that reality, even when it is very, very difficult, it's a reality that we know that is impossible, that cannot be changed in the foreseeable future, and we must do our best efforts to make sure that there will be no outburst, and so to make sure that life, as I said, will be the best possible under these circumstances and the security conditions that we live with, that we live by. So maybe in conclusion, you may understand what I said to Senator Mitchell. I don't know if he understood them 7 months ago. I think that this awareness, the difficulties compared to the expectations to find quick solutions, I think that this understanding is well planted in the heads of many. Maybe they had different thought about the Middle East a year ago, but even this recognition is important. The sense of reality should not only be reserved to us or in the Middle East, but it should be shared also by international